Right.
Good morning and welcome to our daily show. As you're coming in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. And we talk about personal and financial development. So if you know anyone that may want to hear a message about personal and financial development, tag them, send this, share it out, all of the above. Like, comment, and share. Am I hearing?
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So before we get started, if you don't already know who we are, we're Martin and Chelsea Matthews, and we are married. Do we have our sound on? Everything is good?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. We're married. We're in business together. We have a combined 22 years experience in the financial industry. We're founders of M Wealth Group, a financial consulting and investment agency, as well as insurance agency. And we're authors of this book, Let's Fight About Money, helping couples communicate about money, handle conflict, and build an unbreakable financial house.
So if you want to get in good communication with your boo, and you want to make sure you guys are on the same page to go make things happen, that's a great book on there.
If you want to stop fighting each other and start fighting for each other,
start getting that money.
This is the book, let me tell you.
And keep getting that money.
And really, this is our mission. Our mission is to help you build an unbreakable financial house so you can handle anything that comes your way financially. But even more than that, be able to really create the life that you truly want to live and make the impact that you truly want to make so you can reach your full potential. We all have gifts and talents to share with the world, and we want you to be able to reach your full potential in your life, for your family, your community, and beyond.
So I want to give a shout out to people watching on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. What is up? So tell them what we're talking about today. Very important topic that's happening
today. We are talking about car repos are exploding. And we're going to talk about why. Why have you not heard about this? Why is it happening? And why should you care? What does it mean for you and your money? Because we want to help you with topics that are affecting you and your family, your life and your business, and what you could do about it.
Yeah, so car repos, massive inflation. Yesterday, it was announced that inflation reached 9.1%. Chelsea was still pooping her diapers the last time inflation was this high.
He wasn't even alive, okay?
I wasn't even alive at that time. Chelsea's older than me, and
I robbed the cradle.
She's my sugar mama, if you must know.
Anyway, I am nobody's sugar mama.
She doesn't want to be a sugar mama. She's my sugar baby. That's what she is. So look, car repos, massive inflation.
Sugar senior.
She's a sugar senior. She's a sugar cougar. That's what she is. All right.
I have been called a cougar.
So look, this is what's happening right now in the economy. You're starting to see it trickle here and there. Like, why is this happening? So why are repossessions actually starting to explode? And you're starting to see that for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of people during the pandemic, they were getting stimulus money. People got PPP money, all these different things. And people were at home collecting money, collecting unemployment and PPP, all these different things. So their financial position looked different at the time when they go finance these cars. So, and there was a shortage and prices went up for especially used cars. Prices went up, they went higher, and people were paying more and more and more, higher and higher amounts because they wanted to buy these vehicles. And they got financed based on their financial position at that time, which was not always reflective of their overall financial position, which means they didn't always have this kind of money flowing to them. They just had, some influx of PPP, stimulus, all of that, and they got loans that they were not really qualified for, and now they couldn't keep up with the payments. So that's what you're starting to see trickle down now, and people are starting to collect those cars. So why don't you point out some of the things you highlighted on there?
Yeah. So in this article, this is from The Economy.
From Barron's.
Okay. So this says, this is from a car dealership owner who he goes to auctions and he buys cars from auctions. And he says that most of the loans on recently repossessed cars originated during 2020 and 2021, where usually they're like all different dates, because usually somebody gets a car repoed, they fall on hard times. It's not like all at the same time. And so that all of the reasons are what Martin just said, that incomes were temporarily high as the pandemic brought about debt forbearance, pandemic stimulus checks, enhanced unemployment benefits, and in some cases, forgiven loans from PPP. Okay, listen to this. This guy, the car dealer owner, who's been going to auctions to purchase cars, he said he recently bought a Bentley, McLaren, and 2 Aston Martins, all purchased by buyers using PPP money as down payments, and all repossessed after few or no monthly payments. So these people went and got the PPP, bought a brand new luxury car, didn't make any payments, and then got it repoed. Okay, now this is like, have you ever heard of the lottery curse? Okay, when people win the lottery, most of them very shortly after end up right back where they were or worse. Because this is what we talk about all the time. You have to have the right mindset and actions and habits around money, because you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the financial plans and tactics, but if you don't apply it and you don't have the right mindset around money, you're going to end up right back where you were. It's why if all the wealth in the world was distributed equally and everybody had the same amount of wealth, it would not work. Very shortly, or maybe a little bit longer, at some point, it would end up back in the same hands that it was before. Because, now this is speaking generally, some people, they get a little help, they get a little opportunity, and they have the right mindset and they take the right actions and they get ahead. Some people took the PPP and took the help, and they paid their employees. They saved their business. They grew and expanded their business. Some people did do the right thing, but a lot of people who did not have the right mindset and did not have that extra money already because they hadn't been building, they hadn't been doing the work, right? They did the wrong things with the money. And now guess what? They lost those things. And now guess what? They're in a worse position because now their credit is shot. Now maybe they didn't apply it to their business and their business shut down. You know, now they've been sitting at home collecting unemployment and they can't get a job because, you know, they did the wrong things. So this is, we want to bring this information to you guys. For one, a lot of this stuff is not being put out in the media. What you hear right now is strong economy, strong job market, right? These things are not being brought to you. And we're not here to be the bearer of bad news, but we want to help to wake you up to what is actually happening and how it's affecting you and your finances, and how you can prepare yourself so that you can come out on top, not drowning.
So look, your mindset about money is more important than the amount of money you have.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the first thing. There's people who are building their mindset sharper who don't have the money today, but because of the mindset, they will accumulate the money. And there's people who have a lot of money today, but they have a poor mindset and they're going to lose that money. You see it with professional athletes all the time. So you take somebody who excelled at their sport. So they went and, they did their sport. They did it since they were in middle school, high school, all that. They excelled, right? And then they go professional. This is somebody who's never encountered that much money before. Somebody who's never made more than $100,000, now they're making millions of dollars a year, and they don't know what to do. Just watch their behavior. What do they all go to do? To party, to buy a bunch of crap. They don't do anything. So a lot of, like, if you look at NFL players, a lot of them go broke a few years after retirement. And NFL players don't last as long in their careers as other people do. Because it's very physical. So when you start looking and thinking about that, they have the right mentality for sports. They cannot translate that into the mindset for building wealth. It's one thing to collect the money, right? Collecting the money is just, the money's out there. If you have skills, talents, and you have some good abilities, you can go collect money. When you collect the money is one thing. You then have to now keep the money, right? Not blow it. And then how do you expand, grow the money, multiply it, expand it, make babies? So that's the general idea. You've got to be able to master those different skill sets. And then it doesn't matter what stage you're at. Maybe you're at the stage where you're trying to figure out how to get money. How do I extract money from this economy? How to extract money from others? So you got to learn the skills to be able to sell and position your value to others and how you can help them solve whatever problems they have. And I tell people all the time, because we're in a financial business, I tell people all the time, rich people have a ton of problems. And it's more lucrative to solve rich people's problems. I give you an example of this. I know we're talking about car repossessions and everything, but this has to do with finances. It's more lucrative to solve rich people's problems. We had a client who the client was facing a massive tax bill if he died, because in America, when you're successful above a certain amount and you die, the government wants to take almost half of your wealth above that amount. So they definitely wanted to come after a guy like this because he had been successful. And so he was above the threshold where it would take a large amount of his wealth should he die. And so one of the things, so he would die with like almost a $20 million tax bill. That's how much you would have to pay in taxes. So we ended up setting up a special life insurance trust for him and financing a life insurance policy that would pay upon his death so that his family didn't have to sell the real estate portfolio of which his wealth was based on. So that was a tremendous solution for that person. That ended up saving a guy over $20 million in future taxes he was going to pay to the IRS. So rich people problems are different. So whatever you're trying to do when you're trying to get money or build yourself up, whatever, look for the problems that you can solve. And all these car repossession things, those are problems and opportunities. We got a buddy who flips cars. And so he's looking at that and thinking, oh, there's going to be a bunch of opportunities here for me to purchase vehicles at a discount and resell them. So you got to look whenever you hear negative things or bad news, you always have to look for it and how you can help, what you can do in that situation that can advance. Okay.
And then one of the things that you could do when it comes to strengthening your mindset, getting the right mindset, the right beliefs and habits around money is you have to get the right information. You've got to increase your knowledge, which is something that's why we're doing this daily show. We want to help you to increase your knowledge so you could take more responsibility. And part of it is knowing when something is a good or bad decision for you. So in this case, talking about all these car repos that are happening right now and people who temporarily had more money than they were used to having. And then also the banks they were just like throwing their lending standards out the window. They were just approving people for all of these loans that were more than the cars were even actually valued. It's the same thing that happened in 2008 with lending, with mortgages and real estate. And so you have to be able to have the right knowledge to know that just because you can get something doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you. Okay, so it's not bad if you took the PPP or some of these, assistance programs, but what did you do with it? Did you use it to put yourself in a stronger financial position, or did you put yourself at financial risk? Yep. So when you're looking at how do I get myself in a better financial situation, you got to work on your mindset, become a mind ninja, increase your knowledge, take responsibility. Even if somebody is telling you to do something or don't do something or giving you something, you have to decide for yourself, is this the right thing for me? Because when you take full responsibility, then you have control over your results, your environment, your actions, all of those things. So that is, some things that you could do to increase and strengthen your financial mindset. One person said in the first stage. Thank you. So tell me what is the first stage that you're working on? That's awesome.
Somebody said, let's talk. So there's a couple of questions. Somebody was asking if they are, if they're in a position where they're falling behind, what do they need to do? So the first thing is, if you in any financial position, if you're falling behind financially, let's say you're falling behind your credit card payments, whatever it is you're falling behind, first thing to do is get in communication with your lender and let them know, hey, this is the situation. This is what's happening. This is what I'm facing. This is what I'm dealing with. And you can actually go in and they can work out different things to give you some relief on some of it. You've got to be in communication because, look, I came from Africa when I was 16 years old. I fled a civil war in my home country. I went to another country in West Africa. And I knew if I wanted to do the things I really wanted to do in life, I needed to come to America. That was my dream, to come to America. And so I persuaded my father to send me so I could find her and other reasons. So I persuaded my father to send me to America. I didn't have a game plan. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I didn't even have a long-term way to stay here. I had to come here, then I had to petition the government to let me stay. So I came here legally. I had to go through a long legal process. It's freaking long. It costs a lot of money to go to become legally, to go through the process of be here in America legally, to work and do all this stuff. It's a long freaking process. Immigrants have to go through a lot just to be here. Would my life have been easier had I been born in America? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have lived in a civil war in Africa and gone through all of that. But it hardened me and made me understand and appreciate the opportunities I have in America today. So that's why I'm very grateful for that. So, but I had to persuade my father to send me to America. So he finally figured out how to get me to America. I came to America, then I had to figure stuff out. And I didn't understand anything about credit cards, credit, all these different things. Extremely important that when you're in America, you understand credit. The whole American system is ran off of credit. Even the paper money you have in your pocket is debt. It says Federal Reserve note. A note is a debt instrument. You understand? The government has a bunch of debt. The government runs off of debt and getting money from you through taxes. The government doesn't produce anything to make money. They take your money that you make in the form of taxes. Mm-hmm. That's how the government does, right? And so you got to understand that when you're thinking about building wealth and everything, and you're in a position where it could impact your credit, make sure to communicate with your lenders, because credit is extremely important in America. There's so many things people want to do and they cannot do because they can't get financing. So they have to get very creative with that. And if you can't get financing to buy stuff, and here's the thing about it, when you make some money in America, is lots of people want to then give you money. They call you all the time. They call us all the time. Hey, you want to borrow some money? We got some financing for you. You want to do this? They call all the time with offers for financing. When I was dead broke and I had no money and nothing and no capital and very little credit, nobody wanted to lend me any money. Nobody wanted to touch me. So, well, that sounds funny when I say it that way. Nobody wanted to touch me financially. This was many years ago when I was trying to kind of get myself going. But you understand your credit becomes extremely important. So you want to make sure if you're in a position where it could impact your ability to pay on something, make sure you get in communication with your creditors. Same thing if you own property and you have tenants in that property and it's stopped paying rent, or you having trouble with that, call your lenders, let them know what's happening. Hey, this is the position I'm in. This is the situation I have these tenants, they're not paying me, all these different things. You got to be in communication with your lenders.
Now, I want to talk about one other thing of in this article talking about car repos is this is not just affecting, so there's something called subprime and prime. Okay, so you may have heard about subprime lending, which led to the mortgage crisis.
Which people who don't have the greatest credit. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was getting to. My God. Yes. So subprime lending is people that do not have high credit scores. It's higher risk for the bank to loan the money. Prime lending is for people who have higher credit scores. They're a less risky lender. What?
I was going to say typically Asian people.
Okay.
Statistically, Asian people have excellent credit scores.
And they're the best savers too. And they have the most life insurance.
Just tell me the stats. What the stats and numbers are.
Okay, so getting back to my point, thank you very much, is we're also seeing an increase in prime lenders having repos. Okay, so this is not just people that have bad financial habits. It's typically more of that, but people that have low income, bad financial habits, bad credit, no. There are also people with high credit scores, higher income that are also having car repos right now. And so this is what it tells you here, okay? This is suggesting a wider swath, like a wider group of consumers are struggling despite narratives around large cash cushions and a strong job market, buffering households as inflation bites, interest rates rise, and financial markets melt. So this is what I'm talking about when I say be able to be a critical thinker and like slice through the BS that you will hear in the media about a strong economy, strong job market. All of these things, if you look around, it is not true. And so they're trying to tell you, oh, everything's great, strongest job market, strongest economy, lowest unemployment. No, these things are not true. And we can see it by the numbers when you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas pump, you go to buy anything, products, services, and goods, it's all going up, right? And people are having a hard time staying at their same level of survival.
Yeah.
And so what that means for you is whether you're feeling it now or not, you have to confront what is going on. And you have to look at, even if you're doing well, even if you're very financially successful, that is awesome. But it is always important to look ahead at what is coming. Could a recession be coming? Could inflation get worse? How is that going to affect me, my life, my family, my community, my business, my employees, right? So it's important to look around to say, hey, what can I do now to get myself in a stronger financial position? And one of the things that we're doing to help you to do that is we're putting on an event coming up, and it is how to not just survive, how to survive and thrive in high inflation times. People are concerned about inflation. Some people are concerned or think a recession is coming. Some people are not. Some people can't think that far ahead to see, like, could that really happen? And also, I think too, a lot of people are thinking, hey, we survived COVID. We just came out of a worldwide shutdown, pandemic. We survived. We can make it through anything. But we forget very easily, just like the lending, if you live through the real estate crash, the lending, crisis in 2008, really that started in 2003, 2002, 2003 is really, that's when the market was going insane. People were buying houses $100,000 more above appraised value. You could get a loan if you were living and breathing. You could just write down whatever. The lending standards went out the door. You could get a loan if you showed up, right? And that is what led to the mortgage crisis in 2008. So it took a few years to actually catch up and make the effect. And then people were devastated. Foreclosures in record numbers, people losing their homes, people devastated, people losing their jobs. And so we are here to help you think ahead and look at what are the risks that we could be facing up ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4 years ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4 months. And what are the things that we need to be thinking about to get in a stronger financial position so our finances are truly unbreakable? No matter what happens, if the world shuts down, you can make it.
Yeah. So what's the website you go to register for?
6buildingblocks.com/inflation. 6buildingblocks.com/inflation. Rain will put that in the comments for people watching on TikTok and Instagram. We'll put the link in there, 6buildingblocks.com/inflation. It's on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So you can register. It's free. And we're going to go through exactly what you need to do to survive and thrive in times of high inflation.
So look, the reality is people who are prepared to survive stuff. During the war in Liberia, those who were better prepared were able to navigate during the pandemic. Those who were financially prepared. Let me tell you something. JP Morgan, their CEO, one of the largest banks in America, JP Morgan, their CEO, have been saying, look, we've been putting more money towards reserves. They was reported today their profits shrank by 28%. The profits reduced. Still making profits, but is reduced. That caused them to put, I think it put something like 400 million, additional 400 million set aside for potential losses. So what these people are thinking is, we think we're going to have some losses based on what we're seeing, and we need to put some reserves towards that. So if one of the largest banks in the world is saying these are the things that we're seeing because of these inflationary times, and what we can predict people's behavior and spending patterns, and they notice when they start seeing certain things, they know what's coming. Like in 2007, 2008, there was a spike in American Express card use at Walmart. So American Express was like looking, what? Wow, people shopping at Walmart because people trying to like save some money. They're like, and so that was an unusual pattern. So they started looking at that and started saying, that's not a good sign when American Express cards are being used at Walmart, because typically those shoppers were not shopping at Walmart. They weren't shopping at the discount store. And so you're starting to see these things happen more and more. And when that happens, these banks start to position assets.
And then what do they do to those credit card holders?
Some of them, your credit lines got reduced because they're thinking this guy might be in financial trouble.
And that's what happened in 2008 also, is lenders got tighter. Credit cards limits started getting shut down. Some cards got shut down. Interest rates increased. Minimum payments increased. So less money becomes available when people start feeling that they need it the most.
Yeah.
And so you have to be in a position. That's why he's talking about businesses, banks are putting focus on reserves, storing money away, because if you can't get access to capital and your profits, your revenue shrinks, you need money to survive. And that comes from reserves.
Yeah.
So you got to have it.
Very important rule we have in our business. Income must be greater than expenses plus reserves. Income must be greater than expenses plus reserves. Right now in America, 42% of people say they're having a hard time maintaining where they are financially.
And already people have been living paycheck to paycheck. They don't even have, over half of Americans don't even have $400 saved.
So you gotta, regardless of what happens in the economy, doesn't have to happen in your economy. You can create your own economy. And so you'll hear about all these different things happening, all this different stuff going on. You'll hear all this talk. You have to then create your own economy. And then you have to survive and you have to thrive no matter what's happening. You have to figure out how to do that. And that's part of what we're going to talk about during our free virtual training. It's going to be centered around, look, right now I was at the gym this morning and they had this big banner, Inflation Nation, and they're talking about how the prices, everything's skyrocketing. All right, so that's the reality you have to confront. Once you confront that reality, you're like, okay, that's what it is. Then I have to up my game. Right? I have to up my game. I have to do more. I have to expand. I have to grow. I have to increase my revenue, increase my income. All of these are things you're doing. Matter of fact, we're going to put together a group, and then we're going to put together a private group and then go live in there either daily or weekly, and then discuss how do you do that? How do you make sure you can grow and expand, and make sure that if you're a business owner, how do you keep growing and expanding? What are the things we learned about hiring the right kinds of employees? Who are the right people to hire? And why you should get rid of people who are not productive? How do you measure their production to know who's productive, who's not productive? All of that. All of those are things that we've learned from being in business and applying certain things to our business to grow and expand. So Chelsea and I, our business is in 48 states. We have clients all across the country. We have financial clients, very high net worth clients, and different things like that. And we do the show as a way to communicate out to help people have access to the right information so that they can make better decisions for themselves and their families, and take and apply certain things to be successful. So
thank you so much for joining us. And please, if you like this content, please like, comment, and share. Please share it out. Tag anyone you know that could benefit from this information. And don't forget to register for our event coming up, 6 Building Blocks